What's up people, hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host Eamon Hassan and welcome back to another video here at Most Amazing Top 10. Guys, the fact that today in Toronto it's 24 degrees Celsius and not humid is a bloody mystery to me, because whenever it's this hot it's usually always humid and my hair becomes like Hagrid in about 3 seconds. But weather aside, there are a lot more mysterious things in the world, some things that have been around for the test of time still perplex us, so let's find out what those are. This is the top 10 mysterious structures around the world. Starting us off with number 10 is SKARA BRAE, also known as the Neolithic Pompeii. So Pompeii 2.0 was actually discovered in 1850 when a storm on Orkney Islands blew away layers of sand to reveal stone-built SKARA BRAE. The settlement is only 6 houses all close together, separated by little streets. They're honestly little houses carved into stone, that's the simplest way I can describe it. You'd expect the inside of the houses to be some Flintstones ting, but they were surprisingly modern. The walls were plastered, there were even stone built dresses, and every house had box beds. Whoever occupied the place lived off the land, but being in the stone also protected them from the cold. The village was surrounded by an embankment that was a great windbreaker for them, so it's like built-in convenience. Either way, it's called the Neolithic Pompeii because of how well it's been preserved and the fact that its residents disappeared so quickly and without a trace. They literally up and left like they were ghosting someone on Tinder. Everything was left as was, even dead members of the community were still there. No one really knows who inhabited, built, or deserted this place, we just know it happened. Coming in at number 9 is PUNKU. So PUNKU is located in West Bolivia in an area where Inca tribes believe the world was created. The site is basically a bunch of ruins dating back to 530 AD, and it honestly looks like a stone maze you'd find in Minecraft or something, and honestly I'm not even saying that insultingly. Now within the ruins there's a courtyard, a terraced mound with a platform, and even a walled eastern court. Despite being built so long ago, there are even pools and water conduits. Fancy, I know. Altogether, the structure is an ancient temple complex of some sort, but the whole thing has confused archaeologists for quite some time now. Now the first mystery is the fact the stone used to build PUNKU can be found 50 miles away from the site, and some of these stones weigh 130 tons. So how on earth did small communities gather enough labor to transport these gigantic stones? Transportation is one thing, but how did they cut the stones? The blocks are so intricately cut they interlock with no mortar needed, like a 3D printer made the whole thing. It'd be hard to achieve that even now, let alone back then. People are actually very convinced that because it's so well built that aliens must have been behind it, which is just offensive to the Bolivian people living there. Don't underestimate them. At number 8 we have the LONGYOU caves, also known as the 9th wonder of the world. Located in China, the caves were carved by hand and found at the bottom of a group of supposedly bottomless ponds. No one had any idea they were down there, and they were only discovered in 1992 when a villager drained one of the ponds to find the water depth wasn't actually bottomless and to find a cave. After that discovery, surrounding ponds were also drained and even more caves were found. 27 grottos were found, and many of them contained bridges, rooms, and even pools. The biggest one was 21,500 square feet and super tall. People thought it was kind of like a great hall. Most of the caves were close together, separated by a wall sometimes, and the walls had animal carvings in them. My question is, how were they even made? How did they even get down there under the ponds to build these? There are no records anywhere about their construction or who lived there, no tools, no gaps they could have even gone through to make them. No one knows anything about it. I certainly don't. Filling our number 7 slot is the YONAGUNI Monument. Located off the coast of Yonaguni, Japan, the monument is an underwater formation. The monument itself is a collection of sandstone carvings and columns, and they managed to even get a road down there as well, and there's a massive stepped pyramid there that kind of looks like the Mayan pyramids. I mean, who wore it better? No, that's really not the most important question at hand. The most important question right now is it man-made or is it not? And that's the mystery that's perplexed archaeologists for decades. Geologists that have ventured down there think the formation is natural based on the layering of the rocks, yet others believe the flat parallel faces, the right angles, the sharp edges all point to it being man-made. There's even a trench there as well as 2 megaliths that look like they were placed there by someone. A theory that combines both of them together comes from pseudo-archaeologist Graham Hancock, who says the features of the formation can be seen around the world on other formations, yet the fact that that so many of them are in a small area is very unlikely to make it natural. And on top of that mystery is the fact that if they are man-made, no one knows which era or civilization built them. Now at number 6 is Göbekli Tepe, translating to Potbelly Hill. Göbekli Tepe is located in Anatolia, Turkey, and at 11,000 years old, it is the oldest temple structure in the world. The structure is actually a man-made hill standing at 15 meters tall, and it was built in 2 separate phases. Most of it consists of rectangular blocks, and a lot of them have carvings on them, so it's clear that effort went into it. But by the Neolithic era, the building was abandoned completely. It was first excavated by German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt in 1996, who believed the structure was a cathedral of some sort. People used to travel nearly 150 kilometers to come to it, so it could have been a place of pilgrimage. The remains of cooked animal waste was also found, implying food was made for a large number of people there. But the strangest thing was that Schmidt was convinced the area was the central location for a cult of the dead, despite no graves having ever been found. Everyone thought he was low-key crazy until 2017 when they found human skulls with deliberate incisions inside them. Then people were like, okay, maybe he may be onto something after all. Either way, only 5% of the whole structure has actually been uncovered, so we still don't know for sure whether people were there, gathering to pray, or people were gathering to drill holes into skulls. It's really 50-50 at this point. Coming in at number 5 is Teotihuacan. Now this pre-Aztec city is one of South America's biggest enigmas. Founded in the 1st century AD, the next 7 centuries saw the city growing to unimaginable heights. It grew to over 8 square miles and at one point was the largest city in the Western Hemisphere. The place itself was filled with pyramids. The 3rd biggest one in the world is actually located there. It had basically everything. There are various temples all throughout the city, and everything was very geometrically precise and built in a way that South American cities had never seen before. But then terror struck. Dun dun dun. In 650 AD, the city was razed by fire, and anyone who did survive simply disappeared. Whoever came after dubbed it the place where the gods were created because of how impressive it still was. Till this day, archaeologists have no idea who the residents of the city were or where they went. At number 4 is Stonehenge, and I'm not gonna bother going into the basic intro history lesson of Stonehenge because I feel like everyone's heard of the structure. Either way, archaeologists have spent decades investigating it and have found that there was activity in the area around 4000 BC, long before the first stone was even laid. By 2500 BC, the first stones were erected, and in the upcoming 1400 years, the circle was completed with the addition of Welsh blue stones from mountains located 200 miles away. So I told you I'd skip the history lesson and then I gave you guys one anyway? Great, never trust a hoe. Either way, the mystery with Stonehenge is the fact that no one knows its purpose even. No one knows how the blue stones were cut and transported. The circle kind of implies that it was used as a Stone Age calculator back in the day, but even if it was a calculator, it still begs the question of why someone would go to all the effort of transporting stones 200 miles away to this place, like for what? Filling our number 3 slot is Nan Madol. Now Nan Madol is a city located in Micronesia, and it was built during the 8th and 9th century AD. Islanders started building 100 smaller islands, which earned Nan Madol the name the Venice of the Pacific. Researchers believe the city was for the ruling elite and local chiefs to live in so they could be monitored. Accountability for our leaders, I like it. Either way, even at its peak, it only had about 1,000 people living there. Then by the 16th century, when the first Europeans arrived, the whole place was deserted. Nan Madol raises the question of how on earth did a society that had no metal tools or anything build the city of huge basalt blocks? If we do the maths, the population would have been able to move 2,000 tons of stone to the area a year, meaning it should have taken them 400 years to build, yet it didn't. On the other hand, a myth surrounds the city claiming it was made by the magic of brothers Olasipa and Olasopa, who apparently used a dragon in order to move the stones. Now at number 2 is Derinkuyu. This one legit blew my mind, so it's definitely gonna blow yours too. So Derinkuyu is a multi-level underground city located in Cappadocia, Turkey. The city went 85 meters below ground, able to house 20,000 people, and everything was dug by hand. Like, do you know how hard that must have been? It was used the most after 780 AD when Christians sought refuge there during the Arab-Byzantine wars. The city pretty much had everything: a 55-meter ventilation shaft, it could house animals as well, there were grocery stores, workshops, a school, and even a church on the lowest level. It was in use till the Christian population was relocated to Greece, but the real mystery about it is the fact that excavation for the city actually began as early as the 8th century BC. So it raises the question, why were they building an underground city all the way back then? If they started constructing it for the Christians pre-war, that would clear everything up, but they didn't, so what's the tea? And finally, at number 1 is KHORSABAD. So this could honestly be the plot of the next period movie, I swear down. Either way, in 721 BC, Assyria got a new king, Sargon II. As a new king, he wanted to make his mark and be remembered, so he decided to construct his own new capital city next to the city of Nineveh in present-day Iraq. The city he built was called the Fortress of Sargon, or KHORSABAD. Now KHORSABAD was a luxury upon luxury. It blew any structure in the area right out of the park. There was no competition. It was constructed based on the numerological value of Sargon's name. Inside KHORSABAD there were houses, a 4-story ziggurat, temples, but the real gem was the palace. The royal apartments alone covered 300 meters square alone. May needs to call an Uber just to get to his bathroom. Either way, he was a great ruler, and finally in 706 BC he moved into KHORSABAD only to die in battle the following year. Despite all the effort he spent on the place, his successor and son decided to establish his capital at Nineveh, and that was that. Assyrians thought it was a bad omen for their ruler to die in battle, so they sort of regarded everything to do with him as cursed. Hence, no one ever occupied KHORSABAD again. The end. And they did not live happily ever after. And that's all for today's video, guys. It's so strange to think about the fact that there are civilizations that have literally vanished and we have no idea about them. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Not Cotton Eye Joe. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments below, and as always, I'm your host Eamon Hassan, and I'll see you next time. Bye!